What's up guys, it's Adam FPL again here and welcome back to another video here on my channel. Obviously we're in the middle of an international break right now, which means there's a longer break from Premier League football, and if you're like me it's kind of a drag as the international friendlies aren't really of much importance to me and I'm missing the action of the Premier League. So this video was created a little differently than my usual team selection videos to spice up your international break, as this is probably a hot topic this week as many managers are playing their wild card. If you have been following me on my channel throughout the season, you may know that I've already played my wildcard earlier in the season, so this is more of a video to help you guys and give you guys a team template draft that I think is best for the coming game weeks and some other wildcard tips. If you liked the video, please be sure to hit the button down below and hit the notification bell to get updates on my latest videos. So without further ado, let's get into the wildcard draft I've put together. So before I go over the players I picked in this Gameweek 9 wildcard team template draft, it's important to point out that obviously in the top corner you see that there's 1.3 million in the bank, which allows any necessary flexibility to make this team your own and to make any necessary upgrades where you guys think is needed, as I didn't use all the team value and I did this for a reason. Also, this formation that will be played with this team will probably be a 3-4-3, as that is just the most logical. So in net, I've opted to choose Martinez and Peacock Farrell. So Emi Martinez of Aston Villa is on a team this year that has a pretty solid defense, and Aston Villa have very nice fixtures coming up, so there's potential there to get clean sheets and save points. So with Peacock Farrell, it doesn't really matter which 4 million goal you get, as long as you pick a team that you know you won't be tripling up on, so you don't block any other options out in the field. And Peacock Farrell just has a cool name, so I've picked Peacock Farrell of Burnley. Now with the defense, we have Lamptey, who I definitely recommend in your guys' team if you guys don't already have him, or if you guys are wildcarding. So he's very attacking and a bright inside to look to create chances, and he gets in the box a lot, so he can draw some assists and the occasional goal. With Soufal of West Ham, West Ham have also a solid defense this year, and they have some favorable fixtures coming up. And Soufal is good for bonus points and gets the clean sheet, and he's pretty nailed on at that right back spot. With Mitchell here, I opted to go with him as the 4 million defender. He probably won't play at all for you guys. He'll be on the bench most weeks, but you could go Kilman here as well, but Wolves have horrible fixtures coming up, and Mitchell, once fit, can still potentially play for a decent Palace side. With Chilwell, I view him as the most essential defender in FPL right now, as Liverpool is regressing and Alexander-Arnold is hurt. I think that Robertson and Trent aren't the way to go as of right now, and Chilwell provides amazing value. He plays like a left winger in Chelsea. He gets in the box for crosses a ton, he crosses, he has goal threat. He's just a solid overall player and one of the best options for Chelsea for FPL at the moment. With Cancelo, he's more of the long-term kind of dark horse pick. Obviously, you guys all know that Manchester City have an amazing run of fixtures coming up where they verse a lot of weak teams. And if Cancelo can keep his spot nailed down from Mendy, who's starting to come back from his injury, I think that Cancelo can be a great pick as he's created the most chances in the Manchester City side with 11, with ahead of the likes of De Bruyne, Mahrez, Sterling, and all their big guys. So I think that Cancelo, if he plays, he would be a great value pick for his price. Now into the 5 midfielders, where this is the part of the field where I have the most money invested in this wildcard draft, is I think that it makes the most sense because they're the most premiums and big hitters here that will get you the most points. So first up we have Jack Grealish of Villa. So he's kind of become an essential player now too. He's at 35% ownership, which is about the third most owned midfielder at the time. And he's just kind of the talisman of Aston Villa. He may be on penalties, we don't know for sure yet, with Watkins taking the last one. But Jack Grealish is just he's so creative. He creates all their chances. He doesn't really get guarded by players as they're scared he's going to do something big. And he's always all over the field. He's in the box all the time. He's kind of just been a player that has so much potential to haul in game week in and game week out, and he's improved so much from his last year. So Bruno Fernandes, this is kind of as a result pick of all the situations with pandemic and all the injuries happening. So we have Fernandes in, who obviously has West Brom next week, and Manchester United's fixtures do look pretty good in the next few game weeks. And I think that Fernandes, even though Manchester United are not the most consistent right now, and they're not really scoring many goals, he's just the workhorse and everything goes through him. He's on penalties. I think that Bruno Fernandes can get a lot more points and continue to tick along in these next few game weeks. So down to the third midfielder I've selected for this wildcard template draft. We've gone with a little bit of a surprising pick probably to you guys. We've gone with Sadio Mane. So obviously Mohamed Salah would probably be in this team if it weren't for the recent news that we found out about him today. So according to the Egypt Soccer Federation, he tested twice positive for COVID-19. This was a bit alarming as most of the game has Salah in their teams, and now everyone's going to have to be worrying about what they're going to do with him. And this is kind of the consequence of international breaks. So with Salah, depending how long he's quarantined, depending how long it takes for him to recover and test negative, he could be out for 1 to 2 game weeks. So I think that the safer pick here would be to go with some form of Liverpool cover still, especially with most people getting rid of their Liverpool defenders recently. So I think Mane, for those great fixtures that are coming up after Leicester, would be great Liverpool cover. Although he does get less chances than Salah, most of his chances are more in the box, and they have a higher probability of him scoring. So it's really a coin flip when you select Salah or Mane. Going with KDB as the fourth midfielder in this wildcard draft as the Manchester City option. So even though Manchester City have been underperforming pretty badly this first few games of the season in terms of their expected goals and their attacking output, I think that Kevin De Bruyne is still a viable option for this great run of fixtures for Manchester City, where they verse a lot of the weaker teams in the table. The fact that Kevin De Bruyne is on penalties, even though he did miss the last one, but he's on penalties, he's the main cog in the midfield, he's very attacking usually, and he provides a lot of the assists. He's just an all-around threat. I think that he's a great pick, and obviously Sterling is known to be more of the small game player, but I think penalties tips it in the favor of Kevin De Bruyne a little bit. And obviously, Sterling is a viable pick here, as he's a great option. He's low owned, but I'm going with Kevin De Bruyne in this draft. And the last midfielder is a 4.5 enabler with Basuma, who's doesn't really matter which 4.5 you go, but Basuma is probably the best one, as he does play most games. And if you really need him to play, he will usually play and get you a couple points. So I've gone with a cheaper front line in this draft to pump more of the money into the midfield to get as many of those premiums as possible. So I've gone with 3 solid mid-price strikers here. So first we have Calvert-Lewin of Everton, who versus Fulham next week and is a keep for these next few fixtures. Obviously there's some value tied to him for the people that have had him since the early season, but the good thing is with Calvert-Lewin is that he should be getting more service in these next coming game weeks, as Everton have kind of their main squad that they started with the season when they were thrashing opponents coming back, like Richarlison, who will provide more service and will make the whole Everton team better. With Watkins, we have an Aston Villa player again, and little did I think we were going to be tripling up on Aston Villa players this early in the season, but Watkins looks like a great pick for those green upcoming fixtures like Jack Grealish, and Watkins has shown that he has some scoring touch in an Aston Villa side that can score some goals, so I think that Watkins is a good pick for the money. The last forward I've gotten here is Leeds' Patrick Bamford, who was kind of an afterthought at the beginning of the season as he was known to miss a lot of his chances in the championship, but here we are, and Bamford has looked like a great Premier League striker, and he's kind of taken the league by storm. He's getting a lot of chances like he has in previous years, but he's actually finishing, and he has quite a lot of goals, and he's in the race for the Golden Boot as of right now, which I would think is crazy to say at the beginning of the season. But Leeds are just an attacking side. We're constantly in full throttle, and Bamford is the central man in that team, and he's pretty nailed on. So I think that if he can continue getting chances and putting some away, especially against the weaker teams where they'll create the most chances, I think that Leeds and Patrick Bamford is a good side to invest in. Like I said before, this team is probably best suited to play a 3-4-3, where the 4 midfielders other than Basuma will be playing week in and week out. Same with the strikers, the front 3 will stay the same, and you can rotate in the defenders like Lamptey and Soufal when the fixtures are best, and Martinez will be your set and forget keeper. So obviously, this team is still flexible, and you can change some things around with the money left in the bank, but I think that overall it hits on a lot of the main points that the data has shown us to be the best players and to be the best suited team for the next coming game weeks. That's going to wrap up this Game Week 9 Wildcard Team Template Draft and Wildcard Tip video. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like and a subscribe down below, as it is greatly appreciated and doesn't go unnoticed by me, and it helps out the channel immensely. Also, if you have any transfer thoughts about your team and questions, any improvements and thoughts I can make to this wildcard draft, let me know in the comments down below, as I'm always replying to comments, and they're always lots of fun to see. So, as always, it's Adam FPL, and I'll see you on the other side of the international break and with my next video. Bye.